morning, Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. Well, is finally here on the 27th of January 2023. My name is Philomena. Mastiko, welcome. And of course, allow me to officially welcome you back from the public holiday yesterday and also the celebrations that did go down in Kakumiro. Well, I'm pretty sure that if you are not there physically, at least you are able to see what was happening down there, all the proceedings, step by step. We did have His Excellency talk to us, and we really gave you quite the relationship between Kakumiro and the celebrations that were happening yesterday. Well, today is Friday. We are onto some new business as we are also getting closer or getting into the weekend. Well, I know that it's going to be a little bit hard for very many to adjust from a public holiday to a working day. And I don't know how it would have felt if it was a Wednesday. Lucky for you, it was yesterday. Today is Friday. You just need to stick through it and get into the weekend officially. Well, I am with Mollen and Robert, of course, actually Felix. I don't know why I am so obsessed with Robert's name, but yes.
Yeah.
But I do have Felix with me in the house. I do have Mollen as well. Good morning, Felix. How are you doing?
Good. How are you,
I'm
Philo?
lovely.
How are you, Mollen?
I'm alright.
Clearly Friday. Yesterday seemed like it was a weekend.
Yes.
So I was there talking to my personal person, and she's like, how come the CBK work up weekend? Like, what?
But that says a lot also. That statement in itself.
There was the personal person or the...
There's only one personal person. There can only be one.
There are no supporting factors.
For what?
They don't have any other special name that you call them except personal person?
I mean, that's for them.
No.
That's for
I
them.
feel like it would be much easier if you said my wife.
Now, at least now you've gotten to the point. you know, so, I mean, there can only be one person.
But Mollen, why are you being like this?
She's just being
like,
Mollen.
I feel like it's okay for you to say my wife than
Yeah,
my
and
special
I'm like,
person, all these things.
So what you said,
Say
I'm
my
like,
wife.
I'm actually going. It's like, is it because I said? I'm like, no. I've been struggling with myself not to leave, but I think
Now that you seem to be pushing me to
let me
leave.
give the body what it desires. Let me just go somewhere. So I ended up going to some spa and having some evening, sort of like, you know.
Yeah, but that was really good. Some self-care, some self-love.
Yeah, well, it comes handy.
Well, Mollen, good morning. I don't know if you gave yourself some self-care yesterday after we left this place. I don't know.
My dear. Good morning, Uganda. But well, it felt like a public holiday for sure. Although now it's the middle of the week and you're wondering whether you don't have to go to work on Friday. I wish it were a Friday. But yes, I think most of it, I really had a marathon of Netflix that I've been, I had pending, so that's what I got into. And yeah, that's literally what I did. I couldn't do anything that would have an extended part of the weekend. If it were a Friday, then I would extend it to Saturday and Sunday. So it was just a limited public holiday, I should say that, yeah.
Sadly for me, there was nothing about it that was a public holiday because I was busy throughout the entire day, right from the usual morning hours till late. You know, and for a minute I actually felt like it was a working day for everyone else, you know, until you get out of a building and then you realize the cars on the road are, you know, few, it's less busy than the usual. It's like, oh yeah, it's a public holiday. It makes a lot of sense.
But people were celebrating. I was just talking about someone here who did, when we went on Twitter and posted all this steak and wines and everything they were doing. I'm like, dude, don't make us feel bad.
And he always has issues with steak.
Yeah, no. He just posted a lot of steak and I was like, okay, this is how people were celebrating while some of us were doing a Netflix marathon. No, it didn't seem fair, but I mean, what to do?
Never believe social media. I have learned the hard way, the soft way, and always never believe social media. What you see is not what you get.
Now these people are really celebrating. I could feel it. I could see it in the pictures. I'm like,
Keep on feeling it.
I wasn't even invited.
But I just want to ask you a question. Something that we had a discussion with somebody. Mollen would say, just say, oh, but and we're talking about this whole thing about godparents. I don't know. Felix, do you have a godparent?
Yes, I do.
Do you know even your godparent?
Tell you what, I got to know who my godparent is. I don't know, after probably when I was around 15. I was that old for me to know who a godparent is, and I was forced to get a new godparent.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now I'll ask my sister here.
No,
Do you have a godparent?
I do. I don't have actually one. I think there are three.
For what?
There are three. Yeah, that's what a church does, and I know
Which
them.
church?
Growing up,
Which
I used to
church?
actually
Just that
relate.
We just keep it like it's a whole bunch of new family. What? No.
No, they're godparents. For us, you get them at baptism. When you're getting baptized, you get godparents. And I had a chance to actually interact with them growing up. And you know, as a kid, they're not doing much, but once in a while they give you money, once in a while they give you sweets. In holidays, they try to just give you something, and that's how you relate. They never actually really sit down to teach you the Bible. All that thing is
And
just,
I was having
you know,
a
taking
big
care of
argument
you.
about
Yeah.
choosing godparents, and I'm like,
Is it necessary?
someone wants to choose like a whole battalion of parents. Auntie Kuni, Segago, Jajago, what the, like?
But what's the use of a godparent?
And
actually,
that's
in
why
all its
I bring up this.
entirety?
Like,
They're supposed to nurture you in faith. That's the idea. Yeah. Just
That's
to
what is
nurture
supposed
you.
to be done, right? Yeah.
you know,
but
sadly, because of this challenge we struggle with between religion and faith, some things we do to fulfill the religious demands. People never get oriented. Of course, in church they'll say, first in the Catholic Church.
yes.
Then you say, yeah, okuzo mwana mudini, and all these things. Like it's that passive. It's ceremonial. In fact, even the minister tells you, repeat this when I say this.
Ideally, you should be having
Like,
that info off head.
the
if
lack
you
of
mean it.
Some of them
conviction that
do.
should come with, like, for example, making a godparent. It is not mandatory that they should be a relative. I think, and that's something I struggle with all the time. It shouldn't be like they should be.
And by the way,
But somebody who can.
personally, I'm a good parent. Two kids.
Do you know where
church.
they are right now?
Yeah, I know where they are, and I actually usually relate with them. I talk to them over the phone. But I will say one thing. I
give
also
them money?
don't. Yeah, the money is
Yeah,
part of that
you
deal.
can just say you don't.
No, I do. And usually you see when it's festive season, especially Christmas, that's when they call. They are calling, they have a list of things they need from their godmother, and they always actually put that
Do
list.
you nurture them spiritually as well?
That's the challenging part, because most of them are actually far away, so it gets challenging. How do you again now nurture them? But of course, once in a while when they call it, like, are you going to church and stuff like that? But really, the nurturing
That's not
bits
enough.
is not enough. Yeah, I will admit.
It's a hard one. I'll tell you something, and for our parents out there, this is something you need to really have a good discussion about, because this is someone you call in for things you can't do for that child. And for some of you who have been asked to be godparents, don't just accept. Yeah, this obligation is far than the ceremonial event. Standing there,
Holding the child during the whole process of baptism.
There's
That's the
no-
most they do, I have realized.
Yeah,
Most of them.
you haven't had the chance to be a godparent?
No,
it's
Mollen,
actually nice.
I wouldn't want to be a
It's
godparent.
actually so nice. For me, it was an honor, really. I felt
That's
so
such a
honored.
big responsibility.
I'm
I don't
for
feel.
about 5 people.
I don't think that's
You
a
don't even know
responsibility I
them.
want to take on
Seriously?
right now.
I know them. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I try.
I don't believe you, Felix.
No, by the way, I try. I really, you know, as a church boy, as an altar at one point, I've studied these things. I try, as I say, to be a good parent. But some of you who don't know your godparents, go out there and look for them. And for you godparents who don't know your godchildren,
The godchildren shouldn't be looking for you as a godparent.
everyone should look for the other. I mean, it's a whole
A
mix of.
godparent, it's your responsibility to look for your
Yeah,
godchildren.
that's
It
true.
shouldn't be the other way. That's why I'm saying, me as
And you
Philomena,
know-
I am saying it. if you're thinking of making me a godparent of your child right now, I don't feel like I'm in that space to do that kind of job. Not now, maybe later on.
When you
because
first
I have
deal
a
with
lot,
yourself,
I have
you're
a
still
lot of
dealing with yourself.
engagements right now. I would want to give this child enough time. I would actually want to do that job efficiently 100%. And right now, I'll give you 10%. I'm not lying.
And tell you something about this whole duty of being a good parent. For some of us let me just inform you what you carry on your head. You carry on your head questions about anything that this child fails in terms of faith. Whenever, and these things will be asked, by the way, for some of you who believe that there's heaven, definitely. You have to give an accountability.
What did you do as a
Because you
godmother
took an
or a
obligation
godfather?
before God. Because we stand before, and they're asking us questions. Like, will you do kukumira ono mwana mu ddiini ekereziya n'amateeka g'ekereziya nga bw'egamba? Yeah, mbikiriza. I don't know, because that's the process.
Like an oath.
Then bagamba, omuzadde w'abatisi mujjangu oteeke ku mwana ono emikono musige omuzigo mu kyenyi ne mu kifuba. Omubika akasuka ke omuti, then you light their candle tawazayo omwekitanga kya Yesu.
Don't even
These
know
are like
the
more or less
significance
ritual
of these things.
But yo waliwo ujja mutwe, but because there's food after mass.
No, but by the time you actually become a godparent, you know something about church. You
Trust
know something
me,
about faith.
70%
So this is not something
of
that they're going
people.
to teach you.
Mollen.
You have gone through, because guess what? They don't just give anyone doesn't qualify to be a godparent. You must have been a faithful person. You must have had certain sacraments fulfilled
Some
in
people
church.
get those
Yeah, you must
sacraments
be
because they have been
baptized as well.
pushed by their
Exactly.
families and also because they belong to a certain religious denomination, so they know it's part of the process. But there are people who don't even understand. I have interacted with certain godparents, and
Trust
I'm
me,
wondering, but
I believe what you're
why?
saying, Philo.
They don't even know the significance of some of these processes during the baptism.
Sometimes in crisis times, bafuna yawo.
Oh yes,
Someone who's but Philo, down, cast on your mistake.
And mostly the Basomesa at church. I think the Basomesa have kids that they, I think they have
then
kids
they have
that
like
they
a
don't
million
even
kids.
know. Because they are always the last resort at church. Someone has failed to turn up and they're like,
Mito,
you know what,
Musomesa,
and they take on all those children.
What
Also,
do you-
that's wrong in
That's an
every,
obligation
in all
for
ways.
them, I
How are you
think.
going to be a godparent of 10 children? Are you sure you're going to be able to give them the time?
Yeah, you have enough spirit to share.
That's a lie. But anyway, as a parent or as an aspiring parent, you need to really think hard about who is going to be a godparent to your children. It's very important. Don't just get people for because you're friends or because it's family. Nah, it doesn't work like that.
There's this thing lastly for me, and probably I also want to get your opinion. When is the best time to baptize a child?
Well,
when they're very young. For me, I'd think
Okay, I know
when
you
they're
don't
young.
have kids, like, and it's okay, but
Yeah.
like,
I think
think of it like,
baptizing a child who understands why they're being baptized. It may not necessarily be at an older age. Probably say 3 or 4 years.
about 4 years.
Yeah.
No, but you see, baptism, you people, baptism is not just something that you choose to do as a parent and you're like, okay, maybe at one point I have to baptize. There is an essence as to why we baptize kids.
Yeah.
As long as you have a kid born, you want to usher them into that faith. You want to give them that sacrament of baptism. And it should be as soon as possible. As soon as possible, because it brings with it that introduction to faith and the Holy Spirit to be with them. So I think it should be as soon as possible when you give birth. It could be just a week later or 2 weeks later. You want to get
After
them
birth.
there. Yeah.
Wow.
If you wait all those years, and I think there is this whole belief actually about in the unlikely event that the child dies without baptism, that is something you've taken away from their lifespan at that point. So I think it should really be done.
You know, in the faith that I subscribe to, the Catholic Church, the baptism, reading from my catechism. What's the name of that book?
Which book?
That book.
There's a book we used to read that we used to read whenever we used to
The
go to study.
catechism prayers.
Yeah.
That had catechism prayers?
Yeah, the catechism.
Yeah,
Thank you. The book for us to call it catechism. But baptism is defined as that initiation of the child into God's family.
Yeah.
That takes away the original sin and makes us anew before God and the heavens. So that is the obligation as a parent, to usher your child into that. Now, at what age? I have heard some churches want to baptize people in water again. I've seen them go into swimming pools, and I'm thinking, anyway.
That's their belief.
I mean, it's the way they,
But baptism should be, I think, at a very early age, because it enlightens the child, like it's an induction to wash away this. People are so, like, that's why so many activities happen. There's water, there's musigo, there's candles, there's what. To take away all those things, we don't know what they have been praying about your life when you're in your mother's womb. We don't know what people have done. So I think at the earliest possible time, maybe before 1 year or by 2 years. Yeah, I don't know, but by that time when the kid is, but of course also baptizing a 2-day.
For me, I've never understood that.
And
But
they're okay
anyway,
with
it
it.
really makes sense at the end of the day when you look at it
When
from
were
a
you
religious
baptized,
perspective. First of all, I
15
was
years
baptized twice, so really.
Why?
Anyway, that's a story for another day, but I was baptized twice. Good morning, Uganda
Was
Friday
that
special.
Kantakala? They had to redo.
Good morning, Uganda Friday
What, the
special.
first one was fraudulent? Or what? Anyway.
Maybe
I
she has
cannot
to
get
change
into
faith.
that.
Did you have to
Okay.
cross into another faith?
No, it was in
Right?
the same region. I'm a Catholic, and
So the first,
it's a whole different story. Felix, I'm not
I
going
feel
to say
sorry for you,
anything.
honestly.
Anyway, we'll be looking at some of our local stories and international stories, what's been happening around from the time we left here yesterday. Felix, what do you have for us?
Well, of course, our first story will be looking at what did happen yesterday in Kakumiro, where we saw the head of state coming out to make a statement to the population that they should stop voting people basing on sectarism. Now, Museveni did attribute the success of the NRM to a national foundation at its formation that has seen the country's progress economically, politically through the years. He was addressing celebrants during the 37th NRM Liberation Day anniversary at Kakeka grounds in Bunyoro, district of Kakumiro in western Uganda. At the same event, Museveni also launched the issuance of land titles to people of Bunyoro sub-region. Now still about local stories, education sector liberation, where we saw the National Resistance Movement government is prioritizing the focusing on quality of education with the aim of ensuring that children complete at least 11 years of school from primary 1 to senior 4. This is after achieving universal access to education. Now, this being done through skilling, ensuring human capital development, and training teachers through continuous profession development. The challenges of water scarcity in the rural and hard-to-reach areas across the country will come to an end following the introduction of the atmospheric water generators from Sweden to the Ministry of Water and Environment. The equipment that harnesses water from atmosphere using high condensation technologies has been introduced to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water, Environment, Alfred Okidi. And lastly, in local stories, a study conducted by Makerere University College of Health Science has revealed that inadequate eye screening among premature babies increases their chances of blindness. And this because most pediatricians and neonatal nurses have little knowledge about retinopathy of prematurity, a leading cause of blindness among premature babies.
Stories on the international scene. When Maryland became the latest U.S. state on to ban the use of TikTok on government devices and networks last month, cybersecurity officials in the state of Connecticut turned to the FBI for guidance. They wanted to know if the FBI had additional information to support a ban in the state amid dire warnings by the law enforcement agency's leadership and Republican governors that the Chinese-owned app posed serious threats to privacy and national security. And Israel troops have killed 10 Palestinians in one of the deadliest days in the occupied West Bank since Israel raids intensified at the start of last year. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, 9 of the Palestinians killed were in the Jenin refugee camp after Israel forces raided the area. The other Palestinian, a 22-year-old man, was shot by Israel forces in the town of Al-Ram, north of Jerusalem. Now, in the Jenin raid, which Palestinians have described as a massacre, at least 20 others were wounded with live ammunition, and 4 of them were in critical condition. The dead included an elderly woman, according to Palestinian officials. She was identified as Magda Obaid by the Jenin hospital authorities.
A court in Mali has sentenced a man to death over a 2019 attack that killed 3 United Nations peacekeepers that the UN peacekeeping mission has said, without naming the defendants. Mali has been struggling for a decade with violence from armed non-state actors that has spread across the Sahel region despite costly international efforts to quash it. The UN Multidimensional Integration Stabilization Mission in Mali, MINUSMA, has been operational in the country since 2013, but the peacekeepers' presence has not stopped armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL from attacking villages and towns, army bases and police stations. The trial centered on the attack on 5 peacekeepers traveling through the rural commune of Sibi in southern Mali, that is 50 kilometers from the capital Bamako, on February 22, 2019, where 3 were killed. Human activities and drought may have degraded more than a third of the Amazon rainforest, double the previous estimate, according to the study that heightens concerns that the globally important ecosystem is slipping away towards a point of no return. Now, fires, land conversion, logging and water shortages have weakened the resilience up to 2.5 meters square kilometers of this forest, an area 10 times the size of the UK. Now, this area is now drier, more flammable and more vulnerable than before, prompting the authors to warn of mega fires in the future. Between 5.5% and 38% of what is left of the world's biggest tropical forest is also less able to regulate the climate and generate rain, store carbon, provide a habitat to other species, and offer a livelihood to local people and sustain itself as a viable ecosystem, according to the report.
We're looking at the headlines in some of our dailies. Starting off with the New Vision, Museveni warns districts on jobs we shall stamp out corruption. You can catch that story on pages 4 and 5. And 93 kilometers key oil road commissioned as well. And in the parish development mode of fraud, a minister wants managers in 9 districts probed. Ginger Diocese 6, about 2 billion Uganda shillings for Uganda Matters Day celebrations. And Namuganza's censure report sent to President. And also looking at the PLE results, fees defaulters won't receive results. Well, there is that as well for you to consider. But we do have some big stories in the Daily Monitor as well. Felix.
Something quite important that to celebrate for men. And I think
come on.
We did have celebrations, I think, by Wednesday when we had the court give a ruling in favor of breach of a promise to marry in the event. Now, this matter has been there, but we hadn't. Mostly men are the ones who have been paying. Clearly, now we have a woman who's going to be paying some hard cash for refusal to marry, yet she promised she would be getting married to a colleague, Richard Tumwine. It's a beautiful case. You should take time and read it. Quite a number of points that judges gave, very interesting. But of course, far from that, on the Liberation Day, His Excellency also came out to make promise that we will be fully into the middle income status by 3 years from now. Now, of course, also Eddie Ganja behind the backline for 45 years. Now man reunites with family after 66 years. Ooh. Is that still a family? Okay. Well, brothers served 20 years in jail on wrongful conviction. Oh dear. East African community team to assess Somalia's readiness to join the regional bloc.
I clearly now know why Felix is going to be happy for the most part of this Friday, Mollen. Clearly, you can also attest to that.
Because of the money thing, I feel like he's excited about that part.
Felix.
The basis of this, anyway, he said it's an interesting case. I would want to read and
absolutely.
You should take time.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. We are still with you all the way, and it is a special for a reason. Because you'll probably be seeing some new faces every single Friday. This Friday, the new, probably handsome or beautiful face, I don't know, I'm not going to say that, you'll see for yourself. But yes, this Friday morning, we are going to be with one of the, I don't know if it's youngest, but I saw his name somewhere, people who are going to be shaping the music industry come 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Cohen JC. Good morning, Cohen, how are you?
Good morning, Uganda.
How are you doing?
I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm very, very excited to share my gift with you.
Okay. I thought you're happy because of what Felix is also exciting since you're a man. We are wondering, where is this going?
Well, that's a win for us as guys. we have to take it.
Really?
It's like now a men thing. They're just going to own it. He says it's a thing for us. One man won a case and now they are owning the entire thing. They're like, okay, we have won. Like how? You don't have some male group.
Is that what they call solidarity? Now we're having the men do this
in a negative side. I'm telling you, if you look at how Felix was talking about, now Cohen ad saying we won. How?
Well, Cohen here is a singer and songwriter. As of course the morning progresses on, we'll be having quite a lot of conversations with him, and he will be also giving us some of his music through the few performances he'll be giving us. We're very happy and excited to have you join us this morning, Cohen. We are going for a break. When we get back, a whole lot to still unpack for you right here on Good Morning Uganda Friday Special. We'll be back shortly.
It's Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arapojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transaction. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
Friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello. Is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
From the start it was you and me. Say wali mulala who could come between us. Nendo zambe sambie. Those are the girls all to the exit check please. Omukwano negwe somba neguntabula. I was drunk in love. Samanya tirulibalumu. All the walls came crashing. So tell me, naliwa kumeka. Wandi bikoze yonenkulekana ye chino chinsu seko. I can't even get words out right now. Naliwa kumeka. Wandi bikoze yonenkulekana ye. You're playing this game too low. My baby no kwebyo kolanze we city. Baby no kwebyo kolanze we city. Oh, baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. Baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. And then she said, baby, bulira chengamba, you're getting this so mixed up right now. Oh, went in that guy, bulicho kugamba. He came over, I thought it was cool. We had a glass of wine or maybe two. See, man, you came over me. One thing led to another. Hey, naliwa kumeka. One day because they yonenkulekana. Yeah, chino chinsu seko. I can't even get words out right now. Nalikugatika. Sunday because they've been to you, baby. I'm still in love with you. My baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. Baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. Oh, baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. 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 Oh, baby, no kwebyo kolanze we city. Chichiche sakuwa tewali. Obache sakola tewali. Chichiche sakuwa, I need an answer, please. Chichiche sakuwa. Obache sakola. Chichiche sakuwa, I need an answer, please.
You see them girl a beauty there?
This is Good Morning Uganda. Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth, in the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Nine minutes past 7 a.m. 27th of January 2023. It's Good Morning Uganda Friday special. Thank you for joining us once again on this very last day of this week. Actually, it's the last Friday of January 2023. Yes, you'll never have another Friday in January for 2023. Yeah, so we're moving. I like where we're going. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and I am with Mollen, Kenyena, Felix, Nkunda. Commitment is what we are going to be looking at this morning. Commitment and, getting into marriage. What are some of the things you need to consider before you commit yourself to somebody, before you commit getting married to somebody, or before you commit to marrying someone? Now, this is in light, of course, of the story that we saw in the Daily Monitor, where this lady is supposed to pay 10 million Uganda shillings because she refused to marry. She refused to actually get married to this gentleman who actually paid fees for her. And also, to what extent really would you go in when it comes to some of these things you do? They're called what? Gestures of love? I don't know. Do that.
Mollen should tell us.
Are you trying to say that love is not your thing, Felix?
I've been there, done it.
We've tried to make sure Felix gets on the same page.
Valentine's Day is in the corner, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, what I'm saying, in this case, I have passed that point of...
No,
I've been there and I've left there. So, in the case of what it's called... When I used to be there, it was called...
It was called. And now are you in a
courtship.
better place?
Now, I don't know if it's still the same thing.
Anyway, that right there is going to be guiding our conversation this morning. And feel free to engage. Get onto our socials, #UBCGMU on Twitter. And make use of our WhatsApp platform as well. Let us know. I would love to get your 2 cents on this topic. What are some of the things you need to put into consideration before you commit to spending a forever with somebody? Yes. But before we get into all that, I know the best person who can tell us what commitment is. I feel like maybe we don't understand what commitment is, what it entails. You know, if there are certain compromises you have to make, if there are certain sacrifices you have to make, if there are certain understandings and concepts you need to put into your head, all of that. Felix, commitment. For a man who has been there and
you should have left out the part that says right person.
The man has been there. He's been there.
And I'm there.
And he's there, yes. Yeah, he's happily there.
Yeah, that he is.
No, honestly, I'll say this about commitment. If you want me to give it a literal definition, it's a choice of permanence. If you want to take it just on literally, it's a choice of permanence. Like, it's a choice you make that is gonna be there forever. It's, if you want to just keep it as brief as it's scary though.
You know, the word forever is such a big one. Yeah, and it really gives
scary.
me the
But now, in that powerfulness of the word forever, or the scary aspect, is what makes it special. That's why it's not meant for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. That's why in some of us who subscribe to it, but they call it a vocation. Just like as you choose to be a doctor for life, that title you will have, whether you stop practicing, whether it's a vocation. Someone can't be, let's say, talk about people who go into sacred life, like priests or sisters or in covenant. It's a choice you make, and forever, because you vow. Anything that involves a vow is a commitment, because the presence of a vow evokes a covenant, and that's the power of union, or what you want to call marriages for that matter. Or like you there's a point, at some point you evoke, because, and for us, if you, I don't want to look at it, if I'm to look at it from a biblical sense, it's an act you put before God, making a promise on fulfilling it for life. Because at the end of this, you say, until death has done us apart. And the Bible is also clear that widows will be allowed to remarry. That's now biblical. The remarrying comes in only when you have become that. But all these try to ascertain your question in terms of commitment. So it's that you agree to live with for the rest of your life. And that's the most scary bit about
because you see, let me tell you something, Felix and Mollen. The one thing of all the vows we make that really freaks the crazy out of me, till death do us part. I mean, you just never know when death is going to come. You're living in hope and faith, all right? So imagine you have to be with this individual for the rest of your life. I think that's quite a, it's a very,
Let me just add
it's a beautiful and complicated.
Let me add something to that.
Yes.
For all of you out there who are married, I know people are going to get married today, tomorrow. Some of you got married yesterday. This is what I learned about marriage or relationships. One, have you eaten Irish potato from the western part of Uganda? Kabale, Kachisoro, Dentungamo, Zimbara. It definitely tastes different from Irish potato, from Guru, Kotido, Koboko, if there's any that will come from there. Do you know why? Because the soils are totally different. Actually, for some people who have lived longer, can even tell the difference when they are eating. You get the point. And that's the reality about that you asked me. It's a merger of Irish potato that was grown or raised in Gulu or wherever or the north with one that was raised in Kabale, where conditions could be good, favorable, the soil is good, the rain is there. These people know how to deal with this. But probably in Gulu there was a lot of sun. They had to bring irrigation. Sometimes they were able to. And when you bring them together in one dish, you're going to crush them together to make one meal. Now that's the most scary part of
well,
you bring a Philomena from wherever she was, who has been raised well by both parents, taken to good schools, taught good morals, educated, all these taught, and you bring a Nkunda from the ghetto, and they're supposed to live together for the rest of their lives. That could be the most scary bit. I don't know why all of you are keeping quiet, but that is also the most interesting bit of it.
Me, I'm just here wondering, like, God save me from this conversation, because I feel like people have a wrong idea about this, and I think it's mostly black people. We have a wrong idea
about what's that again?
about
of commitment?
This whole commitment and marriage things. Fine. And you did make a good point, Felix. People are coming from different backgrounds, but here you are, you're married, you're supposed to live together until death do you apart. But what kind of life are you going to live? Are you going to put up with a bad life just because it says in the Bible that you're supposed to live forever? I'm not even in the Bible, because the Bible doesn't talk about that. Just because it says you're supposed to be together until death do you apart, are you going to stay in a marriage where you don't feel like you're living that life anyway? Because of that, I think this is where black people get it wrong.
Now it's a black thing?
Yeah, because they don't believe in, first of all, they don't believe in divorce. First of all, they care what the community has to say. They care what tradition says about it. Me, I'm a strong believer that even when you make a commitment, even when you get married, but if you're not living a life that you expected to live, you have to have the freedom to actually get out of that marriage. And everyone should have that kind of responsibility upon themselves. If you got married for whatever reasons or at whatever age, and after some time you feel like, no, this is not what I expected, this is not what I want. First of all, it's even not healthy for you, to the extent that the marriage itself will kill you, and then at that point you would probably say, now death has done us apart. Why would you wait to go that far? It shouldn't be a forever commitment. Yes, it says you're committed forever if things work out. But if they're not working out well for you, I think everyone should have that freedom. But that's without taking away from all the values of marriage. There are things that you should do when you actually agree to commit with someone, to have a partner in your life. And I think one of them is understanding each other. The moment you get there, because it does come with compromise. Yes, you are giving up or whatever, you have to compromise in fitting into this person's life because they've had a different background, you've also had a different background. And that is the point where you look at the middle ground. What things do you like to do together? Or what things do you like about each other? And if they don't like a certain something, are you able to compromise? I think that is also key when you start up the whole commitment thing.
Okay.
Then there is one more thing I would say is forgiveness. When you commit to someone, there are things that you can actually overlook and forgive. If they do something you're not feeling like, this is not a relationship like girlfriend and boyfriend or fiancé at that point.
You've advanced from that.
Advanced,
yes.
and you've said you're going to commit your lives together. So forgiveness is key in there. There are things that you would easily forgive in a marriage, but you cannot forgive as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
And those are there. That is why it's different at that level. And then there are conversations that have to be had even before the commitment, especially around the topic of having children. We've seen marriages that fail because they're unable to have kids. But was this a conversation that you had before? Have a conversation of what's the number you want? How many kids do you want? But should we reach the marriage and unfortunately, in the likely event you cannot have children, is it going to be a deal breaker at that point? These are conversations that you should have before getting the commitment. Because guess what? People get into marriages and then down the road they can't even have a child, or they've had one child, and some guy or a lady in that relationship says, you know what, I can't stay. I need more children. But what if you have this conversation before? And then you also have other characters that get into the marriage because they want the ring, they want the whole event. They get there and they say, you know, it's okay, even if we don't have kids, we shall adapt, we shall be there. And then they can't have the kids, and then they are thinking of getting out. Like, lady, you agreed to this. You said it was okay for you. So I think even when we have these conversations, it should be something that we are ready for. Not just because we want the marriage, but should that happen, are you going to stay there?
Well, ideally that is what we are meant to be putting into consideration, which again makes quite a lot of sense. But now we are looking at that, what should be and what is happening. There is a whole new, before I proceed, Felix, you seem to want to revert to that.
I just want to ask
the
two of you, and I'm sorry, I'll take your seat, Philo, just for 1 second. What is that one thing you can't stand? And this springs from what Mollen is saying. What is that one thing you say, this, I'll leave this marriage? Philo.
If you're a violent person, I am definitely not doing that.
To hell with the vow.
Yeah, I am.
And Mollen?
It's not one.
I thought so.
No,
but just give me one.
No, I'll not give you one, because that is you now thinking that that's the one thing that would... I will also agree with Philomena. Violence is just out of the picture. But also, if you're not faithful, this is not something I would put up with. And I think also to get into what I was talking about earlier, you look at some of the agreements you make in life, and I feel like marriage is one of those things that it seems like it's an agreement you cannot break. People are with intention, which scares some of us that are not yet married.
Let me tell you something.
You look at the ones who are in the marriage and you're like, okay,
where am I headed for this institution?
A huge percentage is not happy. They are absolutely not happy. And you're like,
when I was
oh
listening to
my God.
Mollen's submission much earlier, I'll tell you what was going through my mind is, how many people are you going to get married to? You just can't be living your marriage at the point where you find any inconvenience.
No, but
there's a time I had an argument.
And just a moment, which is why I was saying, this before you get into marriage, and this is what we're talking about, make sure you have conversations that matter.
You can't have
For example,
all
haven't you
these
seen
things
marriages
discussed pre-marriage.
that fail? No, you can.
Some things happen along the way.
No, you actually can. Let me give you an example. An issue of religion. This is a conversation that should be had. So, for example, I'm Catholic, and I know for sure that I probably want to get a partner who is either a Catholic faith or that is Church of Uganda, something like that, an Anglican, yeah. And I need probably someone, if someone is a Mulokole, this whole thing, I can bear with that. And then there comes a guy who is a Muslim, and they are approaching me and they want to date me, and I'm also open to that dating. first of all, you have something that you need as a person, but the moment you let it down and you're like, you know what, maybe I'll figure it out when we get married, you're not going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So some of these conversations should be had. Don't get into marriages and be like, okay, I think I'll put up with it. No, you need to know what you want before you get there. This is how you have one marriage.
Yes.
Because guess what? If you know things that you want and you've had a conversation before the commitment and you get into the marriage, which is why I say there are things that come in compromise, forgiveness in marriage. You know, there are things that are not huge for you. They are not deal breakers for you.
You know, Mollen and Felix, both of you actually do have valid points, because marriage you're doing forever, things change along the way. So you cannot completely have a 360 conversation about each and everything. Yes, at the start. There are few things you'll talk about. Yeah. There are certain things you have to talk about at the start.
Like I brought in the idea of
one
religion.
Of the things,
that's a conversation you have before marriage.
Let me tell you.
What changes along the way?
Well, for our viewers, I would love to hear from you. What do you think are some of the yardsticks that you need to look up before you commit to a person? What are some of the things that you need to prioritize before you get into this whole, you know, long and a lifetime engagement with this person? But also, now this is where we come in, or where I come in with, again, relating to this lady that is supposed to pay that 10 million Uganda shillings for refusing to marry somebody. I feel like right now, marriage has taken a different course altogether. We do things in exchange, you know, for marriage. If I do this for you, I have to marry you. If you do this for me, you have to make me your wife. I mean, there are ladies out there that I know that will tell you, for me to give you a child, you have to marry me. Yes, I have to get married to you. I mean, recently we have seen not one, not two, very many stories where people are paying for other people tuition and school fees, but in agreement that eventually when you're done with school, you are meant to get married to me. I am your husband, I am paying for you tuition and fees until you're done, and then we get married. But I mean, along the way, things change. What do you think about that, Felix? Because I have failed to understand the dynamics of this very specific concept. How does it even work?
Let me just, in relation to the promises we make before we get married, I just want to say this, and it entirely relates with what turns out to be. One of the things we must believe about relationships that we get into is they're a give and take relationships. That's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And you may not, people will want to pretend, but
it is what it is.
That's the thing, that's the reality. There's at some point, there's a give
and a take. Yeah.
We are in need for something, and all of us. It's actually a requirement for you to fuel this relationship to stay alive. It's a duty. And if you don't do it, it's not gonna work. You must come through with your obligation as a man, and definitely later on as a woman. And that's why it becomes, there are rights in there. Each party gets rights.
Is that when you have already crossed
as long
that
as you
road?
exist, because it can only turn into a committed relationship or marriage after it starts somewhere. And where it starts is also must be respected, because reference will be made there. As she said earlier, there are things you talk about. If we talked about A, B, C, D, why is it not happening? What has changed? You told me you will love me, you will care for me, you will take care of me, you will love my children, you love my parents. What is happening now? These are things you promised. Maybe I based on these things to accept to get married to you. What the hell is happening? Why are you changing? There's something in for everything. And if people, and the problem starts when people try to pretend like they're not in for anything. That's the problem.
But wait, Felix, that's very important. But when do we get there? When we are married, or when we have taken, from the time we start dating? Because when you look at somebody who tells you, I will pay for your secondary tuition, I will pay for your university fees, but you're meant to marry me.
Swallow what can come out of your stomach.
if I don't have any
by the time you swallow a seed of a mango, you know it will tear you behind when it's coming
But
out.
was this
So
promise
know
verbal? Was this promise verbal?
It doesn't matter.
Some of these decisions
and that's the problem. And that's the problem I have with Mollen here. What's the use of verbal, written?
You're giving away 10 million.
If
You're
it's
giving
a document,
away
I
10
can
million.
use it. I can use it. I can hold it against
Guys,
you.
As a man, why are you
let's
giving
be
away
honest.
10 million without anything, with just a verbal promise? Some of the things we need to be responsible
It's not
for
about whether verbal
This is
or
on
not.
him too.
No.
It's still a
It's
promise.
about being honest.
Yeah.
All right? If a man comes to your life, and this is the thing I want to tell my brothers out there, be intentional and direct about what you want out of someone. You've met this Mollen here. You're starting to give her things, you're not saying anything. You be using. Just tell her, woman, I think I like you, I like your ways, and I think we can start sharing life.
Yeah.
And if Mollen doesn't understand that, then she has a problem. Or she's going to be using you, or she's either in it for her feelings, or like being intentional. And the problem is, some of these things, anyway, are not meant for everyone. That's also another problem. Some men struggle with being direct and open about how they feel about the other counterparts. Some men are shy. Some men don't have the courage to speak out and tell. So that's sometimes it is now incumbent on the woman to understand that maybe this implies this, which is not common.
Yeah.
Because someone will start gifting you. Now you're saying, but why would someone gift you if there's nothing? Like these are all questions. When you start asking, did they write? No, they don't have to write. As long as you see a relationship.
But if you take this to the courts of law, I mean,
trust me, and I'll tell you,
I mean,
you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked. The qualifications of this offense: 1, 3 types. It is either express or implied. They all pass. They all pass. Court can look at them, whether said or not said.
Yes.
Even court will judge demeanor, behavior.
Yeah.
Because these all things, everything can't be put in cast of rating. But allow me say this, Philo, as well. When we meet the people we think we want to be with, we must, again, know the kind of life we are able to offer and live with. I don't know. That's why people say people change. Yes, people change. You must be ready to live with that change.
People's characters are
Let me tell you.
I don't buy into the idea that people change. It's just the character that hasn't been brought out yet.
I'll tell you. I'll give you an example.
We ignore and we think they have changed. They
I'll give you an
had these
example.
characters
For people who are married there, and I was talking to Mollen, I think a couple of days ago, know that when women give birth, there's a whole change of situation at home. Dude, this chick who has been cooking, taking time to fry, will you see fried stuff anymore? You will be the one cooking now, frying, everything changes. And now, that is actually a hard one. If that relationship is not intentional, because love now is shifting from you, Mr. Big Baby, to the now small kids.
To the actual baby.
And it is reality. If you don't take time, love and patience to understand this transition, relationships die there. You start thinking this woman is seeing someone else, but she's seeing the babies now. Those are the new boyfriends. And you say those things, you must be alive or to what you wanted to. And let me tell you, one time we were having a conversation with one of the colleagues, and they had gone through some challenges as a family. But he gave me a very good statement. He said, but this is my wife. Like, after all the things, but this is mine. That was a super statement. That above all the things they have told me, I know that she has done, but she's my wife. Like, the road doesn't end with the things they do. That's the power of commitment. Let me tell you, don't get married if you don't think you're ready to hold on to these people for your life. And it don't allow to be boxed in by society,
Yes.
by parents, by pressure. Get to a point where no one is pushing you, but your conviction is pushing you to get married. I'll tell you, married people cheat. They get cheated on. They fall in love again with other people.
Okay?
No, I'm not saying, like, these are challenges
The
of
true
life.
realities
They don't
that
only
happen.
happen to married people. These things happen around us. They become emotionally drained. They become empty. I've seen people in marriages who have become emotionally empty. And both of them, what happens? The husband can't even look at the woman. Like looking just to turn and you get
You're
the point.
changing both directions in
I
that.
everything.
have one question.
But maybe before we
I
get
have
into
one
the
question
question.
for Felix, just a little
Yes.
bit.
Okay.
And we're here saying all this, and you bring out all these points. You have decided to be married. What if, once you make that commitment and you're married to this person, there are things that they are doing, or there are things that have changed, like you talk about people change, and you cannot put up with it? What do you do?
Here's the thing. You see, and I've heard you, Mollen, saying, when you want to say, me, I go, me, I come, me. Let me tell you. The day you pack your things and you make a man drive to Nkunda, where to come and be there dancing in the tent, you be changing your Gomez and Mishanana, what people are there. I want to inform you. Now I'm telling you as a big brother.
Yeah.
Don't get married. You're better off getting separated
But you
than
see,
divorced.
You see, this is
That
the challenge.
is a mark. Because
That's
if you're going
the
to get
challenge
married,
right there.
and there's only one way of marriage anyway, from these civil things. The Bible is the ordainment. Marriage is an ordainment of God. It's a godly thing. You can't believe the Bible beats and you say, I believe that God loves me in the Bible, but I don't believe that God said marriage is a lifetime.
No. Felix, you're getting it
you
all
either
wrong.
believe in God.
You're getting it all wrong. Are you saying that even if I reach this marriage and someone is being violent and someone is being unfaithful and they're being all these bad
Pray
things,
for them.
just because
Pray for them.
Oh my God.
Prayer works miracles.
Well,
No,
feedback
Felix,
coming
no.
in from
Just pray
a
for your
gentleman
husband and
here,
love
that
them
is
more and more and
Ocho,
more and more.
who is watching from Chigo, and he says marital settlement is something one must carefully decide upon. Take your time to study the person you want to settle with. Sometimes we really rush into these commitments without knowing how heavy they
Makes it
are.
look like it's
And
a
while
degree.
dating,
No, thank you. That's
be
a good
curious to
point.
know this person in depth, as Mollen said. Which conversations do you always have? Anyway, sometimes we cannot predict the future. Some factors may come in and the only solution is to change your mindset. However, patience is a very
Patience
key.
is the thing.
And I do have Okwir Zadoks from Kitgum saying commitment for marriage is defined as the choice of lifetime decision to stay together with your partner for the rest of your life. Come rain, come sunshine. And I do have Wellborn from Arua City. I hope I got your name right. You say what should be considered for marital settlement? First is God, second is God, and last is God also. Relationships not rooted in God are bound not to surpass challenges. And I do have another viewer who says the problem as to why people these days do not consider commitment is marriage no longer has meaning to some people, because, like, honestly speaking, someone will get married to you just because you have a business, house, a good car, and then someone is ready to get married to you expecting a good life, expecting you to prepare for her heaven on earth, you know, since probably their parents could not avail the same. So definitely this person is referring to their possessions,
The wrong
you know.
reasons we get into
And we have not
marriage.
even talked about the finances, because this is something that I think is a topic that a lot of people want to ignore before they make commitments.
What's the relationship between marriage and finances?
Exactly. You see, this is what married people are getting into that institution think does not matter.
Mollen.
The finances matter. Have you seen marriages that actually get into a wrong position just because everyone is being secretive about their finances, or someone is doing investments outside of their marriage without telling their partner about it, and this is where you start to have problems. finances are key when you're making commitments. Are you able to share?
In the sense of what you bring in it, there's a principle we're taught before some of us got commitment. It's called the union of economic union. Like, how do you deal with finances at home? And let me tell you this to people who intend to get married or who are married. The more you have things that you do together as a home, the more you'll keep together. Because even if you have a disagreement about how things went on the day or about each other, there's something where you'll have to meet and have a conversation. Let's say if a woman is probably running something or you're saving some money, you'll have to go back to her and tell her, but man, I think I need, like, on this. You must do things together. Here's the big problem, probably also before our time runs out. Or if one of the things that we must not fear to say about these unions is the role of the people around us, the circumstantial effects or things that affect marriages. One, and I would want to hear again from Philo and Mollen here. There's this thing I always ask the two of you, and I want to ask it again. Blood and water. Who is the blood and water? This is something that has broken many families. Have you heard of women, wives say, this saying in Luganda, "Okusanga nyazala asanga chi." Your mother-in-law, I rather
You'd rather find her gone,
now,
dead and gone.
Let me tell you.
That is wrong.
30% of marriages break because of families. Our families, your families as women. And that's the question I ask, like, where does the buck stop in the involvement of family and your own family? And I want to ask, I think I'll ask Philo, like in your, what are the limits? What are the no-go areas? Would you marry someone your parents have said, we don't like this person? Let's start there. Would you get married to that person? But you love them, they seem everything is right, and then the daddy and mommy are like, no. What happens?
That's relative, depending on why they don't like this person.
You see that? If she's already saying that's relative.
Yeah, because they could have valid reasons.
It's
they
relative.
Could have valid reasons.
Yeah.
When she's saying
that's
relative,
why they're saying don't get married to this person.
Sometimes they do have
people
valid
that
reasons
love
as to
you.
why they don't like this person, and maybe it's an eye-opener for you.
What do you base on to validate their reasons?
It's an eye-opener. No, if you actually agree. Do you know that there are instances that happen where you ignore some of the things or some of the character traits until someone points them out and you're like, wait, hold up. This is actually true and this is not something. You know what they say? You cannot trust yourself when you're in love 100%. There are certain things you turn a blind eye to. So that's why I'm saying it's relative, depending on what I can tolerate. If you don't like it, and if maybe I concur with you, probably that would be a valid reason. But if I don't concur with you,
what happens if your spouse doesn't like your parents?
Well, now that's also another big deal.
That's a different story.
And now those are the
but you see, Felix,
but they're
what
different
Felix
things.
Is saying
they're
is
different. Yeah.
You want you're in love, like you say, there are things that you might not notice right away. But parents are people that love you. These are people that want the best for you. So if they are pointing out a certain thing, it's now upon you to review it. Is this something that I'm concerned about?
Yes.
And then at that point, you can either tell your parents, you know what, mom, dad, this is something that I'm okay with. He's like this. Maybe they don't like that.
Yeah.
You see that parents who are traditional. No. For example, that the guy probably has plaited hair, and they are saying, no, you will not marry a man with plaited hair. And for you it's not a deal breaker. You don't mind it.
It's what you loved about the guy anyway.
Probably not, but you like them for who they are, not for the hair they have. And this is something that you can now talk about with your parents, and you tell them, look,
I think you can get to a middle ground. Parents
don't have the final say.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't have a final say.
Because this is a person you're going to spend the rest of your life.
So let me ask lastly about the same thing. Who falls in the bracket of blood and who becomes the water? Because they say blood is thicker than water. So in this sense, your family and your other family, like your family, father, mother, sisters and brothers, and now your wife and kids, who's the blood, who's the water?
But also, Felix, why are you choosing to go and start a family if you're still entirely tied up to your original family? Because this is a new institution you're starting.
Is there a point where you get anti?
I mean, no, but you need to know, and this is why they say striking a balance is very important. We've also seen scenarios like that, where actually your parents don't like your person genuinely. There is nothing wrong with them, but they just don't like them. They just they're not compatible like that. there is that instance, and this
is-
person is okay.
This is what I think.
So it
And
also
I don't even believe in
happens.
this whole blood and water thing, because I think
it's just
if you
a wrong
look at,
concept. Absolutely.
this century we are in, or the generation you might
Now
choose
it's
to
a
say,
century thing.
we have we have
Anyway,
what
we
you
could
call,
go
what
on
you
and
quote
on
as
about-
water being stronger in our lives than the blood. So I think you have to just put a balance. You could actually be looking at your family that you think is not blood. This is now you creating your bloodline. Why are you still
yes.
stuck to the old bloodline when yourself, you're starting a bloodline? The moment you choose to get married and have kids, you're an ancestor there and then. Because you're starting your own bloodline. That should be one you're concerned about.
Well,
These are both
What
people
you-
you care for. You love your parents, you
share
love
in the
your
same,
person.
I share in the
Yes.
same spirit. I
Yes.
think when you start a family, they are entirely responsible. They have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like you're the only person they look up to. Like if you don't do things, no one will do them for them. If you don't protect them,
You have to
no one will
protect and
protect
defend
them.
them.
If you don't love them, no one is going to love them. If you don't provide for them, no one is going to provide for them. I feel that when you have a family, it's your, like, I don't know, it's like your life. Like people who know when you sleep, what you eat, when you don't, they're also looking up to you to give all this love. One of the things, as I finish, as to wrap up all this, for some of you who want to get in marriage, relationships, look at your cup. How full is your cup? Don't dare think someone is going to fill your cup for you. Your cup of love. Love, first of all, make sure you have something to offer. Don't go there thinking you're only going to collect. You must have something to offer. If you're sad, if you're angry, if you're broke, that's relative. Don't get into someone's life with all these problems thinking they're going to solve them. That's where the problems start. You must come to a relationship full. You're stressed.
I'm just going to be your God. I'm not going to solve all
Yeah.
your problems.
Because that's what you give. That's the energy that is going to come off you in a marriage. You're going to be mad about everything, even when a spoon falls. Because you have a lot of anger from your parents, from your sisters, from
transgenerational anger.
Even when someone yawns, because your anger is all over. You have a lot of anger. Cleanse your heart, prepare yourself to give. Actually, when you go into these marriages and relationships, don't expect, just carry what you have to give. Because you can't give from an empty place. All you're going to be giving, if you go with anger, you're going to give anger. You're going to give sadness. When a man brings something home like, because of that, you're carrying that misery. Don't disturb people's women and men, children, daughters and sons.
And this is why
if you're not.
This is why Felix sometimes says, "For me, I'm a newcomer," and all these things. Because I believe. Why aren't you communicating in this relationship? Why don't you just come up and say, "Hey, man, no, bring the meat. Don't come." Why would you just be now singing some particular song to deliver your message? That is not being friends. Yeah,
you know that's the thing.
This is your partner. This is your friend.
It never works.
This is your friend, this is your husband. Just come up and say, "Hey, look, I need this." Oh, this is your wife, I need this. Don't just be there. No, these things are not for us.
You come home and someone is singing funny songs.
Anyway, we could go on and on and on, but the feedback is still coming through, obviously. But I'll tell you one thing: passive aggression has never been a way of getting what you want. And I mean, this is not only cut out for marriages. In any kind of relationship, whether it's a friendship or whether it's a relationship with your colleagues, passive aggression has never been it. It's a very toxic trait. And I would say 2023, keep passive aggression away from your normal life. Well, time for us to look at some of our papers, our dailies, the Daily Nation and the Citizen, coming in from Kenya and Tanzania respectively. Now, in the Daily Nation, about 1.2 billion Kenyan shillings bursaries for poor learners are missing. You could say stolen futures over there. Now, the amount can sponsor secondary education for over 22,000 students in top schools. Threat that lured Magoha brothers back to Kenya. And still in the Daily Nation, why Gachagua wants Mountain Kenya bars closed. Well, Kenyans are not taking this quite well. Clearly, it seems they've opened up a war on the bars over there in Nairobi and the surrounding counties. Anyway, High Court throws out petition against Achani's Kwale win, and still in more Ruto's plan to have Raila and Karua join parliament. There is that as well. Get yourself the Daily Nation and see what's happening over there in Kenya. Now switching up to the Citizen, windfall as NMB's net profit skyrockets to 429 billion Tanzanian shillings, and do not rush big projects. Ways to reduce air travel costs in East Africa, and embrace made in Tanzania, of course, when it comes to the tech expert. All of that quite interesting stories you will pick. Get yourself the Daily Nation, the Citizen, and also the Daily Monitor, plus the New Vision. We are going for a break. When we get back, quite a lot still coming through.
This is Good Morning Uganda. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us, and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking, to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. Magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by Gatawa with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial star 165 star 5 star 3 hash to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Don't leave. Kameseji kagambye nti ogenda wasibyedde ebintu kyeki kukyusiza obwongo kikyenkoze netonde towuliriza ngambo baby bebakugamba bakulimba gwe gwenina baby kwe kwenina ebitusatulula tubiraba enkeera bw'oba ogenda wakiri ntwala girl don't leave me don't leave bw'oba ogenda wakiri ntwala nze ntwala naawe kamesegi kagambye nti ogenze baby amasimu ngakuba pick up your phone I'm calling you nina kyembuuza baby you walayira nti tuliba wamu luberera abaali ababiri tubeera omu kati ogenda baby where are you I love you you know I do pick up your phone I'm calling you girl I'm calling you oh ogenda wakiri ntwala girl don't leave me don't leave oh ogenda wakiri ntwala nawe nze ntwala nawe wakiri ntwala nawe tibo ogenda wakiri ntwala girl don't leave me don't leave oh ogenda wakiri ntwala nawe nze ntwala nawe wakiri ntwala nawe girl don't leave me don't leave me nze ntwala nawe wakiri ntwala nawe tibo ogenda wakiri ntwala kale ntwala nawe girl don't leave tibo ogenda wakiri ntwala girl don't leave me.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us, and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking, to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth, in the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's unique ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
Buy a bundle for friends and family. Dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different, even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink, Hallelujah Jingati drink and Hallelujah Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Hallelujah Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Hallelujah from all shops around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Guy newe kuna naoga wajaga batugamba gaba.
Tapping in from the satellites, we're looking at a rainy system that is covering across the southwestern part of the country. That is from Lake Victoria. That is bringing in rains, especially for areas around areas of Masaka, Rengo. That system is headed westwards, meaning that it could actually be getting into areas of southwestern Barara, Bushenyi. You can expect to have rains for this morning. It looks like that could also be headed to parts of central, so areas of Mubende as well. You can expect to have those rains that would propagate all the way up to parts of central Lake Victoria Basin, so Kampala, Wakiso, Entebbe. Right now you can also expect rains throughout much of this morning, and we do expect that that system will be headed away by the time we get into evening. Also starting off with mostly sunny weather for the rest of the country. We're looking at much sunshine across northern Uganda, the eastern part of the country, Karamoja. We do have a few clouds that are also starting to form up for the Karamoja region, but looks like that will be bringing in only intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Now, I want to take a look at a bigger picture of what we're expecting for today and why we're having that. We do have a tropical storm that is forming across parts of the Indian Ocean, and that is across Madagascar. That is indicated in the deep black, red, green lines right there, green colors right there. That is indicating a low pressure system that is now affecting our weather, and because of that, we're seeing that most of the moisture that would be forming up rains across our country and now being diverted towards this area, and which is why we're seeing a reduction in wet weather activities. I'm talking about the system right here over between the Madagascar area and then this area of Africa that is across the Mozambique Channel, and this is what is affecting much of our weather even for today. And then again, as we head into tomorrow, that system will still be there. We're looking at most of it also getting deep. That is into our Saturday, meaning that most of the moisture will still be diverted here, which is why we're seeing Uganda in a very, very dry state. We could be looking at more sunshine for tomorrow across the country. Now, the areas that are benefiting even then from the system are still south of Africa, which is where we're seeing most of the rain-bearing clouds now moving towards. And for the rest of Saturday, you can expect that we'll have mostly sunny weather across almost the entire country. Now, as we head into Sunday, we start to see the system trying to fade away and moving quite far from the Mozambique Channel. That means that we still have, we get now moist winds that are coming in from the Indian Ocean towards the country. And that is when we'll be expecting just a few drops of rains coming through. Even then it will be light showers, and for just the areas around Lake Victoria, That is why we expect that we could have a few rains coming through even for parts of Kampala, Mukono. You look at Wakiso areas within, especially the islands of Lake Victoria. You look at areas within the eastern part of Lake Victoria Basin, that is Tororo, Jinja. But those will be just a few rains, and also across a few areas. The rest of the country will still continue with mostly sunny conditions, and also we're looking at very dry conditions. We could be having temperatures that will be quite within the 30s, especially for the northern part of the country in eastern Uganda. And we're also looking at mostly southwestern Uganda also having reduced wet weather activities. Even then, temperatures are expected to be quite warm over there. Well, that is it in terms of our weather updates, but we also do have to report out for you what you can look out for this weekend. In terms of entertainment, where can you go, especially if you're a movie fan? This is one you need to look out for. Now, some of the movies that are trending these days, you look at what is streaming on Hulu, what is streaming on Netflix, what is also showing in cinema. But one that is coming out today for Netflix, you look at Lockwood and Company. Well, it is a family story, but also more of a thriller. There is an adventure right there when it comes to family. Let's take a look into the trailer.
It's terrible the world's come to this.
Well, it is a ghost hunting company, and of course they're getting rid of the spirits that seem to be disturbing London. It reminds me of the story in the original Vampires. If you know, if you watched Vampires, the original, that kind of ghosts and spirits, but the action in there and the thriller is one that you can count on when it comes to Lockwood and Co. This is streaming out today. It will be coming out on Netflix, and of course starring all your favorite characters, especially when it comes to teen movies, and most of those you can expect in that movie. Now, one that is also coming out today on Netflix, we are looking at You People. This is comedy, but also more of a thriller in there. Now, a new couple and their families reckon with modern love and culture clashes, well, societal expectations and generational differences. This is one thing that they are showing in this movie. And of course, it is starring some of the actors like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is well known for the movie Coming to America. He's in there. Then you also look at Morgan in there, who will be also starring in the same movie. We're looking at Lauren London. Lauren London has also starred in a lot of movies, especially Black American movies that are in there. Nia Long. She's also one of those characters look out for in You People. A lot of comedy and romance in there. Let's take a look into the trailer.
I'm sorry, this was insane. Let me make it up to you.
You're dating a black girl?
I've never felt so understood by somebody in my entire life.
Whether you like it or not, we kind of go together now.
You're my boo, come on. I'm gonna ask her to marry me.
Do you plan to? Out to her family?
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to meet them. What's going on? Tell me about life. How are you?
This is your white granddaddy come back to haunt me.
What? Now this is my fault?
So you want to marry my daughter?
Yes, yes I do.
Well, Ezra, you could try.
the behavior.
Can you honestly say that your family's excited to have my black ass in the picture?
Oh my gosh, you are so beautiful. I think the police are fucked up towards black people.
I like your braids.
Thank you.
Exhibit had braids.
We've built a pretty awesome life together. We just need to protect it.
Oh, so you're all Muslim.
Very much so.
I love it.
This kufi that I'm wearing was actually a gift from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Are you familiar with the minister's work?
Well, I'm familiar with what he said about the Jews.
You know, let's have dinner.
Your People movie right there, and of course giving you a lot that is also included in that movie, family, romance, and a lot. But also another thriller that is showing in cinema this weekend, and one that is actually filled with action and thriller. We're looking at Plane. Now, Plane movie takes you through a story of pilot Brody Torrance, who saves passengers from a lightning strike by making a risky landing on a war-torn island, only to find that surviving the landing was just the beginning, when dangerous rebels take most of the passengers hostage, and the only person, that is Torrance, is now can be counted on to help. And of course he's also counting on his friend Louis Gaspar, who is an accused murderer who was being transported by the FBI. Now, in that, what do you do? That is all included in this movie, and of course it is featuring a lot of big names like Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler is best known for the Fallen movies. Olympus Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. You also look at Mike Colter. Mike Colter has also appeared in some of the Marvel's movies. Lock and Cage, that is the movie he has also appeared in. You look at movies like Extinction, The Defenders. Are some of the characters you can expect in the Plane. It is showing this weekend across most of the cinema halls. Let's take a look into the trailer.
The clock is ticking. Every minute matters. We can count those minutes in lives, lost or saved.
Get back. We don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. Get back.
Listen carefully. This is an emergency. I'm Captain Brody Torrance.
I like this guy.
Nick, country! Maxwell Carver, England.
I gotta go after them. My passengers, my responsibility. Gonna need your help. You're gonna need this. Former military or something?
You can say that.
Why'd they lock you up? No one cares what really happened. But they say redemption can be found in the most unusual places. If you do this, you'll probably never see your family again. What about their families? I have a daughter, and I have every intention of making it home. They're going to come at us with everything they've got. We're getting off this island.
That reminds me of the series Lost, where there was also a plane crash on a certain island, and the people got lost on the island. But you, the person watching, you actually get lost somewhere because of all this series and the characters they are bringing in, going back and forth. But in this one, you won't get lost. It's actually one movie, and it is showing this weekend. You can follow up, make sure you have the story, and see whether they survive or not. Now, away from that, if you want to look into a book, or you're looking at a certain book to just spend your time reading, earlier on we had a conversation about this whole commitment and marriage thing. Maybe we need a guide towards this. Now, this book is called The All or Nothing Marriage, How the Best Marriages Work. Maybe there's need for a manual for some of these things. But, well, it takes you through a story of a couple after years of debate and inquiry. The key to great marriage remained shrouded in mystery until now. That is what
Carol Drake, the author of Mindset, and also the New Psychology Success, Ellie J. Frankel's Insightful, are on this book. Well, this is a book written by Ellie J. Finkel, and of course giving you more of that into a manual. Groundbreaking investigations on marriage, clearly showing the best ways that can work. And of course, Ellie J is actually a professor of psychology, and he brings in that into the book. And of course, he has also been talking about a topic and has been mentoring and counseling married people, and of course maybe brings in the experience from that. It provides a sweeping history, an overview showing that primary functions of marriage from the 1620s to the 1850s revolved around food, shelter, and protection. Is it still the case? We're talking about way back in 1620 and 1850. We wonder whether that is still the case. But also picking up topics from that, picking up insights from that, it gives you the book All or Nothing Marriage. That is one you can actually get to read this weekend and get yourself into knowing some of the things, the controversy around it, the misunderstandings, or what we do know as basics. That can all be got after reading this book. And of course, then you judge for yourself whether this is for you or not. I'll leave you at that. We still have Cohen in the house. He will be giving us more performances, and of course we'll also be getting into the sports highlights and make sure that we usher you into your weekend with our Good Morning Uganda special Friday. My name is Mollen Kenyena. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
From Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
I'm going to give you sports. Of course, a lot will be happening over the weekend. I will have a couple of games. The FA Cup returns on our screens this weekend. And of course, the Serie A, La Liga, as well as NBA. That will be played tomorrow morning. Where do I start from? I think I'll start with, this time I'll start with the Serie A. Then on Sunday, in the Serie A, Milan will take on Sassuolo, Juve against Monza, Lazio will take on Fiorentina, and then we shall have Napoli against Roma. That will be the last game on Sunday at 10:45 in the Italian Serie A. Then of course in the Spanish La Liga, we shall have a couple of games as well. Cadiz will take on Mallorca. That will be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Then Girona will take on Barcelona at 6:15. That will be tomorrow as well. Sevilla will take on Elche at 8:30, and at 11, Getafe will take on Betis. That will be in the La Liga. Then on Sunday, we shall have Valladolid against Valencia. Osasuna will take on Atletico Madrid. Celta Vigo will take on Bilbao. And the last game on Sunday will be Real Madrid taking on Sociedad. That will be in the Spanish La Liga. Then the FA Cup, we have a couple of games played in the FA Cup. Warsaw will take on Leicester. That will be kind of a smaller affair for Leicester. And then we'll have, where's the FA Cup? Anyway. We shall have Blackburn against Birmingham. That will be at 6 p.m. Bristol will take on West Ham. Fulham against Sunderland. That's a good game to catch. That's the Yorkshire Derby. That will be happening. Then Ipswich will take on Burnley. Luton Town will take on Grimsby. Then of course Sheffield will take on Fleetwood. Southampton will take on Blackpool. Preston will take on Spurs. And the last game tomorrow will be Man U taking on Reading. That will be at 11 p.m. on a Saturday. Then on Sunday, we have a couple of games also in the FA Cup. Brighton will take on Liverpool. That's a good one at 4:30. Brighton Liverpool, a Premiership crash there. Stoke will take on Stevenage, and Wrexham will take on Sheffield United. That will be in the FA Cup. Now, we shall have also the German Bundesliga. That will be commencing tomorrow as well. A couple of games will be played in the Bundesliga. Freiburg will take on Augsburg. Hertha Berlin will take on Union Berlin. That's a derby, the Berlin derby. Then Hoffenheim will take on Gladbach. Mainz against Bochum. Werder Bremen will take on Wolfsburg. That game will be at the VW Arena. And when I talk about VW, you know what I mean. Then Bayern Munich will take on Frankfurt. Now, the last time the Bayern Munich played Frankfurt, the game ended 2-1 last season. So there must be some fireworks somewhere. If Thomas Müller starts up front, Bayern is there for a beating. And okay, my interest, I must catch this game. I would love to see Frankfurt humiliate Bayern again at Allianz. It might not happen easily, but it will eventually happen. They have their numbers there. Then, of course, the CHAN returns tonight. We shall have CHAN. The quarterfinals are on. I will be here with Michael Sef Maruandaga to take you through CHAN. And I know that UBC will promise to deliver CHAN, and we will always have the games. So, as we speak now, we shall be having the quarterfinals. CHAN, Algeria will be in action as well. So you can always join us at 6:30 as we take you through the games. That will be CHAN 23 rather. That will be happening tonight. Then away from that, we go to basketball, where we shall be having a couple of games. But tomorrow morning, and of course we had games this morning as well. That is basketball. Where is basketball here? I'm looking for basketball. Yeah, of course I've got it. The Magic did beat the Pacers this morning. That was 126-120. We had the 76ers with Joel Embiid, one of the tallest guys I've seen in the NBA. Joel Embiid is so muscular and big in that paint. Actually, I had an argument with a colleague of mine when we were chatting as we watched the game this morning. Between Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam, who who is the better player. I think Embiid has a lot. Embiid can defend, Embiid can shoot from anywhere around the arc, around the D, and Embiid can actually, his physicality in the paint shows that nobody can control him when he gets the ball in the paint. But Pascal Siakam, the Siakam of Toronto Raptors, had a fantastic season. That's 2-3 years ago when he played alongside Kawhi Leonard as well as Laurie. But the Siakam of today is not the Siakam of 2 years ago. And any team would actually trade Joel Embiid for anything. So there's no contest there. Embiid takes it. And the guy I was chatting with is Simon. Simon did actually ask about Embiid and Pascal Siakam. And of course, the 76ers did actually beat the Nets. That was 137 to 133. And then we had the Rockets losing to the Wizards. That was 108 to 103. The Bucks did beat the Nuggets under the big influence of Giannis Antetokounmpo, the big Greek. Those who thought that the Greeks were actually short men. There's Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA who is, I think, 7'5". That's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's actually he was an MVP for last season. He did play good basketball, and I've not seen that form return this season. But I think as towards the playoffs, he might rediscover his form and get into the mood of playing. Then the Pelicans did lose to the Wolves. That was 111 to 102. We had the Thunder. I almost said the Thunder. It's actually the Thunder. Did lose to the Hawks, 137 to 132. Then the Warriors finally beat the Grizzlies, 122 to 120. Now, we also had an argument with Simon. The Warriors team and the Bulls team. The Warriors team that won 3 in a row, and the Bulls team that dominated NBA in the early 90s or mid 90s. I will tell you, the Bulls, Simon, when you look at the Warriors team that dominated NBA between 2015 and I think 2019, between 2014, 13 to 2017, 2018. That team had KD, had Draymond Green, had Andre Iguodala, had Steph Curry, for me the best shooter I've watched in my time. I forget about MJ and Karim Jabbar. Now, when you compare the two teams, the team that had 3 black men, that is Scott Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Dennis Rodman, it had everything in them. They had everything. Now, just imagine if you got a Michael Jordan and gave him a Steph Curry and a Draymond Green, he ran the show. So, Steph Curry was good. Yeah, he was good for Warriors, and you cannot compare the two teams. I'll tell you this, Simon. Michael Jordan is playing. Michael Jordan is uncomparable to anybody. You can only compare him with Karim Jabbar and Magic Johnson, not any other player around. Forget about the stats. Look at the total the team play. I mean, Jordan would turn a game on his head in any minute. Steph Curry, yes, he's good at the 3-pointers, holds the record of the 3-pointers in the league. He won, he helped Warriors 1-3 in a row, fine. But when you look at the impact of players on the NBA game, on the teams, I think Michael Jordan, Scott Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, we are far, far better than Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, and Steph Curry. So, yes, you can ask me anything, but I don't think that the Bulls team is comparable to any team or to NBA. And I had people even talk about LeBron James surpassing MJ. I just laugh it off anyway. The Blazers are beat by the Jazz 134 to 124. We had the Raptors beating the Kings. That was 113 to 95. And lastly, the Lakers did actually beat the Spurs 113. That's up to for Spurs 104. But the Spurs they missed the retired Tim Duncan. If Tim Duncan was still part of the Spurs team, they would never have lost certain games anyway. But Duncan is gone. Tomorrow morning, no, not tomorrow morning. Today we had also the other games. But anyway, tomorrow morning you have games. Yes, the Pacers will take on the Bucks. Then the Heat will take on the Magic. The Warriors take on the Raptors. Now, if this game happened 3 years ago, you would see a Kawhi Leonard, a Pascal Siakam against Kevin Durant, against Klay Thompson. Now it's a different ball game. Anyway, and then you have the Sixers, 76ers against the Nuggets. So that game will be played at 11 p.m. tonight, and it will be at the Wells Fargo Center. So you can catch the NBA game. Of course, we have one outing tonight at 11. As people go to Chadondo, we'll just be getting on the screens to watch The 76ers are taking on the Nuggets. That will be at 11 p.m. tonight. Well, I've got to go. I'll leave the team to come back here and take you through. I wonder if Kamon can invite Judy Butcher here to give us some slow music. Anyway, that's if Judy Butcher is Ugandan. If he's not Ugandan, how can he even get him? But that should be a question. Maybe Philo can come and sing for us. Can't do with you tonight. Maybe he can do that for you. Maybe send me the piece that you dream on. I don't know. Anyway, have yourselves a lovely weekend. See you Monday. Be blessed. Bye for now.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There's no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Mong and Tayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only
by one MP, you yourself.
And my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome back from the sports updates there, Ruben Mpima Chividango, who is always asking for these other international artists. Sir, we just want to tell you, you'll find them in Kayunga, but for now, we shall deal with the Ugandan artist. Well, you're still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special. Myself, Philomena, I am still with you all the way, Felix Nkunda, and of course, our very special guest this morning, Cohen JC. His songs have made people run mad in this Kampala. I'm telling you, his voice, there is something about his voice. And when I was busy melting here, Felix was holding it against me. I do not know, but have you? You've heard the man sing, really. You've heard the man sing. I mean, why wouldn't I melt?
Okay, melt.
I love it to melt. This guy has had feelings, but you'll be okay.
No, but no, I love his music. I think it's quite unique, and the voice definitely is up there. And it's I've listened to his music before, I must say. It's good music. You're doing some good work. Do you write your songs? Lovely.
I feel like in 2023, you can't just come and sing only. You have to do a lot of things for you.
You're not listening to music then. You're not listening to what people are singing.
I mean, okay, it's the ideal thing. The ideal thing. You should be an all-rounder for you to really thrive. But I know that very many Ugandans have listened to your music. Probably they haven't attached first to the music. There is that. But they know the name, they know the music, they'll go crazy. But I mean, they want to know who the man is. Well, this Friday, please, the next time you see this gentleman here, maybe the cameraman should just zoom him in for to make sure we know who we are talking about. But yes, we're going to be talking more about your music, you know, how you have gone along. I told you there is somewhere I read you're one of the artists, actually they mentioned the music, the future of music is secure, and you are among the people that are really giving us the security. And considering that he's a young man, honestly, and we need to start making sure we create a continuity process when it comes to music. So I don't know how long you've been doing this, but me, I woke up one day like this and I started liking your music. And I was wondering, okay, how is this going to go for us? So how have you been doing this all this while?
Well, my name is Mastiko Cohen, also known as Cohen JC. I've been singing for as long as I can remember. If I give it a time frame, I'll be lying. But professionally, I've been doing this music thing. This would be, I'd say, my 3rd year. Like if I finish this, this would be the 4th year. I'm basically starting my 4th year as a professional musician.
3rd year, 4th year, and you have done all this, because I also know you've done quite some major performances on some of the big events here in Kampala.
Yes.
I mean, how has that been as well for you?
Well, for a new artist like myself, of course, not new to very many people.
Yes.
I used to do live performances here and there, but a new artist on the mainstream, you know, being able to reach the people that I have reached, being able to perform on the stages that I performed on, it's actually very humbling.
Yeah.
You know, like it shows you that you are appreciated, and at the end of the day, you learn to respect your craft a lot more. You know, you learn to respect the people who are receiving it, because the reception has always been amazing. So at the end of the day, I take it upon myself to make each song or each project that I work on, you know, better than the previous one. At the end of the day, it's the fans who have made me what I am. So I really, really love that. It's very humbling.
Well, also maybe just what kind of music do you really do? Because when I listen to your music, I pick a bit of Afro soul, I pick a bit of R&B, I pick a bit. It's a whole mixture, and it just makes something nice. I don't know what genre that is. I don't know. What are you looking at?
Well, it's quite interesting that you asked. In what I would define, you know, today's music as, people are shying away from genres, and they're making music more based on feeling, on moods. So me, if it wasn't genre specific, I'd say I make music that, you know, uplifts, music that, you know, makes people feel good about themselves, makes people, you know, enjoy life. But other
you don't
than
want
that,
to tie yourself to one specific.
yeah, because I believe I can do it all. But if I were to put it to one thing, it's R&B soul. But then the fact that I'm an African artist, I identify with Afro R&B soul.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I've been sort of like here thinking the kind of music you do. Like, do you have any inspiration? Who inspires someone you looked up to before you got professional? Philomena there used to look up to.
Don't lie.
Someone who never made it.
Don't lie on national TV, Felix.
But you yourself, like, who have you looked up to in this industry, both locally and internationally?
I would start with locally. Definitely, I've been influenced by Maurice Kyria. I've been influenced by Alan Tonix, who I was in studio with yesterday. I've been influenced by the late Mose Radio. May God rest his soul. Yesterday was his birthday. We still celebrate you. There's Aziza Zion. Like, there's a lot of people. I'm such a huge fan of Ugandan music that I cannot entirely list them, but I love everything that's happening. I love what the artists are doing for the industry. So please, forever stay inspired and keep holding the flag high.
Okay.
Internationally, I love Ed Sheeran. You know, Ed Sheeran is like a part of my journey. He's one of the people who inspired me so much. And it also cultivated my sound a little bit. Like, a lot of what I sound like is derived from listening to, like, a lot of his albums on playback. So Ed Sheeran inspires me. I like what Burna Boy is doing. You know, the fact that African artists are now recognized as international artists, I can never take that away from him.
It's a big one.
Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, they're holding our flags high.
Eddie Kenzo.
I would be so unfair if I don't.
Can I give you the direct contact to Eddie Kenzo?
It's just because we're talking about international.
The man in the picture, that guy.
No.
Okay. I'll definitely use that information.
I heard that they're good friends. I don't know how true that is, but I had.
I just support the guy. That's.
You just love the man as an artist. Yeah.
But I really do believe Eddie Kenzo is such a very, very strong pillar in Ugandan music as far as, you know, holding the flag is concerned. He's Grammy nominated. He's breaking milestones. He's holding the flag very high. So peace to you, General. Stay inspired.
And that's where I want you to go. We pray that you go.
At the end of the day, I'm looking at people who are inspiring me. Like we're pushing, we're growing the industry one fan at a time, and you know, being here on national TV, singing to all you beautiful people. At the end of the day, opportunities like this make us grow.
The sky will be the limit for that.
The sky is only the beginning. That's the first ceiling. Okay. There's like thousands more.
So what are you cooking right now?
Currently,
like what do you have? Like you guys call it EP, album, launch?
These days it's EP.
Well, it's actually quite interesting. An EP it's like an EP and an LP. The difference is just in length. And an LP is an album. That's usually more than 25 minutes total runtime. And then it becomes an EP if it's less than 25 minutes runtime. So I have 3 EPs out. Currently, I have Wena Chapter 1, Wena Chapter 2, and just last year, in November, we dropped Heartstrings with an amazing producer called Axon. Yeah, that's where, you know, we've worked on songs like Siganye, songs like Ndinawe that have been really, really crowd favorites. And of course, quite recently, Don't Leave Me. Right now, I'm working on my debut album. You know, like I've given people EPs. EPs are short, brief, you know, projects. Like we would not say people put that much attention on them. But an album is a way you introduce yourself to the community. Like people have a lot more work to judge you by, you know, to gauge your progress by.
So not this one to be the other one.
Yeah,
it's not this one.
Yeah. So that's a challenge I'm taking on, and it's an amazing journey. I'm meeting people that, you know, are helping me get to exactly where I want to go. So it's a learning process every day.
And that brings me to my next question: who are you working with? Are you working with any particular people in terms of collaborations and probably the production? Who's doing all this thing with you?
Yes, I am working with a producer called Avasa. He's my executive producer. But I also work with a bunch of other producers. I've worked with Under Music. Like I said, I've worked with Axon. I met Jaja Washington a couple of days ago, and hopefully I'll do something with him. At the end of the day, I just want to work with as many gifted people, just so that we can share our light to, you know, the entire world. So
awesome.
I'm looking for opportunities.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, while we're still talking about music, you know, for the last couple of weeks, I have been, you know, seeing engagements and conversations about the old artists and new artists. And I mean, for a music industry like ours that is growing at a fast rate, I want to believe that they can coexist, yes. And I would really love to hear from you as a young artist, because, I mean, previously we've had people who have been on the scene for a while here come through and, you know, say this and that. But also, if you've been following up in the media, I mean, there is a whole argument of we are great, we'll always be great, young artists don't have space here, and then others, you know, the argument is they need to create space. What are we going to do about this? I mean,
well, at the end of the day, if at all what we want, like the end goal is not just betterment of self, like me, I want to be the best artist, and you think about it in the sense of I want to grow Uganda, I want to grow the Ugandan industry, then such things will not exist, because I believe Uganda has such a huge population, and you as a human being, you can never love only one artist. You know, you love music, music that is made by people. So I think we can all coexist in the same industry. The only way that we can reach other people is if we tap into each other's audiences, and that's through collaborations. So if the older generation artists would collaborate more with the new generation artists, it's just at the end of the day, we are both winning.
Yeah.
I'm tapping into the audience, the older people who are there, and me personally, I might have some younger people that you would want to tap into, the people who are using streaming platforms, the people who are paying for music online.
Yes.
And now, instead of us combining these two avenues and doing something bigger, everyone is cocooning themselves and they're remaining with their forte. And at the end of the day, it doesn't grow anyone, it doesn't help anyone. So in my opinion, if at all we look at it as we are trying to build the Ugandan industry, we want it to be as competitive as the South African industry, as the Nigerian industry. There are some things that need to be overlooked, some things that need to be forgotten, thrown in the past.
They don't really count. And maybe before we get into, you know, your final performances, earlier on we were having a discussion here
Yes.
that really got people heated up. Everybody was really, you know, dying on their cross for their own views, especially when it comes to commitment. Quite a complicated but beautiful thing or concept. And the argument is, what are some of the major prerequisites you look at before you commit? I don't know if you're committed or anywhere, but I mean, if you wanted to, let's say, if you wanted to, or if you are, what are some of those things that you just give priority? Because clearly now people have a different, you know, list of things they look out for.
Well, for me, like, honesty is such a big deal breaker. Because I believe if someone is honest in the small things, they're definitely going to be honest in the big things. And if you're dishonest in the small things, then you're going to be dishonest in the big things. So for me, honesty is such a deal breaker. Like, for me, that's one of it. Like loyalty, you see. If you commit to do something, like my brother was saying, like, if you have the discipline, you know, to see it through. So if I choose to trust you, you know, and you misuse that, then at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to be compatible. So honesty for me is very key. At the end of the day, we're all just people. We're leading each other home. So
I don't know if Kampala men and women have honesty, but I'm pretty sure you've seen this Kampala men deserve Kampala women. I don't know how true that is.
I know. Like, honesty is such a rare, you know, like character nowadays, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to be something they're not. But me, I feel if you're comfortable in your skin, you know, if you're comfortable with who you are, and you're not afraid to share that person with someone, then at the end of the day, honesty becomes part of it.
Okay.
You know, like, you're so comfortable, you don't have to lie about anything.
Now that you're talking about commitment, your song Siganye, there is a line where you say Siganye na yo mutima.
Honesty.
Well, that is Cohen JC here. As again, we are winding up. PLE results will be coming out today at 11 a.m. of course, and I can tell you that parents, students, I don't know how they're feeling.
I have a little sister.
Yeah. Oh.
And we're all just waiting.
Aren't you nervous? Way more nervous than the.
I mean, yes, but at the end of the day, like, I really trust. I trust her. So
okay.
We're waiting. We're just waiting to celebrate.
I have a question for Felix. Felix, in your times when you did P7, you are not waiting for these things of messages, SMSs. I mean, how is the experience right now? Imagine. Felix,
no, I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I thank God for was that most of the exams I've done in my life, I know what I expect out of them. And one time it even put me in very hot soup at one of the exams I did in the university. Because after one, I told my colleagues, that one I've got. And I got something around that, and they said, you guys, so I almost cancelled one of my certificates somewhere because of that. So I've never been on pressure, because I normally go in with, well, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. So. But for the kids who are expecting their results today, there's not much you can change. You only get what you did. If you didn't read, you didn't write, nonsense. Man, don't miracles. Honestly, don't disturb God with it.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, you should have prayed before the paper, but don't worry. Whichever you get, it's just part of the process. We've all been there. Some people fail, but that doesn't say who you'll be, who you'll turn out to be. It's part of the process. You can be, these are just simple, like some of you who use flights, these are those turbulence, but you'll get landing. Don't worry. Take it easy upon. Don't overstrain yourself. That's life, man.
Well. At 11 a.m., of course, they'll be released by Mama Janet, the First Lady, but also the Honorable Minister for Education and Sports. So, there is that as well. And hopefully, when we clear all of this and get into the weekend, we'll have a good one. Speaking of the weekend, what's the plan? What are you doing, Cohen, this weekend?
My weekends are usually booked and busy, so I'm going to be singing for my fans. I have a performance on H2O, I have a couple of weddings, and Sunday is with family.
Ooh,
so
you share that with Felix?
Sunday is strictly with family. Like, those are principles.
To family.
You only share family with church?
No, like
rather church with family.
I just add on church. That's the only thing I put to Sunday.
Family is very important.
Yeah,
like we need like every moment that you spend with family counts.
It does.
In my opinion.
It does.
Ooh, that's beautiful. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I'll figure it out as Friday goes by. But I'm going to church. That's a given. Well, Cohen, thank you so much for coming through. It's been quite a wonderful morning. And of course, an amazing one at that. I know you do have a few performances you'll be giving us as we sign out. And even we have to really, really leave you right now, in as much as we love you. Thank you so much for sticking with us all the way from Monday. It's been a busy, busy week, I can tell you, with the celebrations going on, the preparations and all of that. Hopefully we will meet again next week. I don't know what's going to be happening when it comes, of course, to the political scene, when it comes to the economic scene, social scene. All of that, we'll be having our conversations in Good Morning Uganda next week, where we get back seriously. And also next week, we'll be looking at the start of a new month, February, one of the, I don't know, mixed feelings about February. Right from set here, there are people who have mixed feelings, but I love February, really. I do.
It's a month of love.
It's a month of love, celebrating love. And then, you know, Felix, you need to smile.
For what? For
Felix needs to, you know, we took it upon ourselves, me and Mollen. We need to change your perspective when it comes to that month. You have a biased opinion about February, but don't worry, you're in the right hands. Well, Cohen, what are you doing for us? I'm not even letting you speak. So what are you going to give us as we sign out?
I'm doing one of my most listened to songs, but also the most controversial, and that is Siganye. But in my opinion, it's not really as controversial or toxic as people think it is. It really just comes from an honest perspective, an honest point of view. Like be open about exactly what you want from the beginning. And when I was writing this song, I was thinking from that perspective. Like, okay, how about it's a Gen Z thing. People do situationships and all those kinds of things.
We got into that.
I was trying to write from that perspective, and I really love how the crowd is receiving it. It means this is something a lot of people actually relate to. So it poses a lot to think about. But yes, this is Siganye,
but the heart just said no. The heart wants what it wants. I guess that makes quite a lot of sense, and it doesn't want what it doesn't want. Well, have yourselves a wonderful Friday morning, a very beautiful weekend, and of course, hopefully we will see each other next week. I am Philomena Mastiko, and Cohen over here is giving us Siganye.
Wanesiga sembere mkwano gwo awatali kusika miguu omubiri ne gwagala naye omutima gukyaganye. I wanna be here for only the right reasons. I wanna leave your heart how I found it. When it's all said and done, it goes down to who would have loved you better. And I know you think I'm the one that's gonna treat you like a lady. I wanna be that guy, I really wanna be that guy. Omutwe no mubiri biyo yakwe naye omutima gukyaganye. siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye nange njagala okuba ekyo ky'oyagala naye omutima gwe guganye bambi njagala okuba oyo gw'oyagala nze tonyigira siri musobya baby I would have loved to know you better I would not be those guys who take your love heart and soul for granted like I don't even understand it like I don't really get the spark omutwe n'omubiri biyoyakwe naye omutima gukyaganye siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye nange njagala okuba ekyo ky'oyagala naye omutima gwe guganye bambi njagala okuba oyo gw'oyagala naye omutima gwe guganye siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye siganye nze bambi siganye naye mutima gwe guganye I can't wait to be with you again, my darling. Tell me how you do this morning. Life without you gets so boring. Like I told you, I know love can be so frightening, but what I feel is real, no hiding. Struck me down my little lightning. So tell me what to do. Joya, Joya, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Kue, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Joya, Joya, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Kue, baby, niendiwe okunkwata omukiro oba hondyo mumwebazyo ahorenda tujendeyo iwe manyani niendiwe okureba buri kasheshe na mishonke nyonyozi baby nyowe naye hayo you're not safe for me omutima no kubera kukuba so faithfully baby you're not safe for me omuliro mbere none kumbabula so painfully my baby so tell me what to do. Joya, Joya, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Kue, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Joya, Joya, baby, what to do? Tell me what you need. Niendiwe okunkwata omukiro oba hondyo mumwebazyo ahorenda tujendeyo iwe manyani niendiwe okureba buri kasheshe na mishonke baby nyogwe naye hayo iwe manyani niendiwe okunkwata omukiro oba hondyo mumwebazyo ahorenda tujendeyo iwe manyani niendiwe okureba buri kasheshe na mishonke nyonyozi baby nyogwe naye hayo iwe manyani niendiwe ninyendiwe ninyendiwe